News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WBNN. Back here on the Yaffee program. Appreciate you joining the show today. By the way, I guess we'll end the show like we usually do right now. We have the Yaffee program rewind. All right, to start the show today, yes, we talked about the latest after the aftermath, after what happened in the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's supposed to be a good night. It was actually the first one Trump had been to, I think, since becoming president. And there was a shooting that happened. Now, luckily, no one was really hurt. There was one Secret Service officer who was shot, but he had a vest on. But it brings up the question once again. This guy put out a manifesto saying he was targeting Trump and Trump officials. So that brings up the question, is there any way to prevent stuff like this from happening? Now, technically, the Secret Service did prevent him from hurting anyone. Some people think it was too close for comfort, that there should have been better security. But overall, when it comes to political violence, is there really anything we can do? I feel like political violence is just not going away anytime soon. Now, in the United States of America, in a free country like this, where we have divisive politics, it never truly goes away. We've had assassinations in our history and everything else. So it never truly goes away. But in terms of it being kind of extra heated right now, I just don't see that stopping anytime soon. So the only way to sort of react to this, the ramifications to this, is what I wanted to say, is you just have to have better security at events. That's all you can do. I just don't think we're going to talk a lot of these nut jobs into not doing it without better security. There just has to be such good security at these events that it's just not worth it even to try. But we had a texter weigh in earlier who said, when someone is that motivated to the point where they're willing to die for it, it's very difficult to stop them, and no security is foolproof. So that seems to be the nature of it. So we talked about that. If you want to hear that, well, the podcast is going to be up on the website. This is that time of the show where I remind you the podcast is available on the website, WVNN.com, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And then we have the Alabama bullet points as well, the top stories from around the Yellowhammer State. And one of the stories I had there is the fact that Tommy Tuberville used this assassination, once again, brought it up and said, or the attempted assassination. Thank God it wasn't an actual assassination against Trump. But he said this is just why we need to make sure Department of Homeland Security is funded, and Democrats need to stop playing games on this. So I had that story in the bullet points and much more. If you missed it, well, the podcast of that segment is up. Then we spoke with Todd Stacy, who was with Alabama Daily News and host of Alabama Public Television's Capitol Journal. The podcast of that interview is up. One thing we talked about there, you have a pretty tight race in District 1 of Alabama, the congressional race, where you have former Congressman Jerry Carl. You would think he'd be able to run away with it, but no, he's in a tight matchup with Rhett Marks. Now, part of that is because Senator Katie Britt is endorsing Rhett Marks. That's playing a role. But also you have 47% of people in the latest poll still undecided in that congressional race. So that plays a role as well. Jerry Carl might benefit just from name ID alone on that when it eventually comes to the race. So we talked about that with Todd Stacy. The interview I have with him is up. Then, yes, we did the Sunday News Shows recap. I always recap the highlights of the interviews from those Sunday news talk shows. I do it Monday morning, so you don't have to worry about it on Sunday morning. It's my public service to you. If you're a news junkie like me, but you don't have time to keep up with it on a Sunday, well, I do it for you, and then I recap it for you on a Monday. And we talked about a lot of different things there. The big topic on the Sunday news talk shows was the fact that there was a guy who tried to assassinate Trump, another person, at this White House Correspondents' Dinner. And you do have some Democrats already basically blaming Trump for people wanting to kill him. And then there's also the push for gun control as well. Go ahead if you can, though. Todd Blanche, he's the acting attorney general. He was at the event. He talked about it on Fox News Sunday. Walker, play Todd Blanche, cut 1 for me.
The suspect, the alleged conduct that took place is exactly the worst kind of conduct that we have at an event like this, where you have extensive security. But the most important thing about what happened is that law enforcement got it right. So there's a lot of talk about how close the alleged gunman got to all of us and to President Trump. But the reality is he didn't really get past the perimeter. And that means that law enforcement, Secret Service, the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI now did their jobs, which is a good thing for everybody, including you and me.
Now, I was mentioning that the propaganda press and some of the Democrats are just going to, they're going to blame Trump for it and push for gun control. That's part of this. Go ahead if you can. Jamie Raskin is an example of this. So play Congressman Jamie Raskin. Skip down to cut 3 for me, Walker.
The president, I want to make sure that I recognize what he said, because we don't hear him speak this way very often. He said, I asked all Americans to recommit with their hearts to resolve our difference peacefully. And he talked about being unified with members of the press.
Yes. Well, that certainly, that's a new message from him. That's great. He had called the press, of course, the enemy of the people, and he's been engaged in a lot of lawsuits against your profession.
Yes. We are going into this politically charged midterm season. There's going to be campaigning around the country with lawmakers out there. I mean, does something change? He said this. Does something change? Does Democratic language need to change as well?
We have said all along that we need every politician in the country, every leader in the country.
Walker. So there you go. It's something we'll definitely talk about more upcoming shows, but we had that in the Sunday News Shows recap. By the way, this segment of the program, the Yaffee Program Rewind, brought to you by Jay's Appliance Outlet. Have you been out there yet? Over there in Athens off 72, you really should go, because it is the best appliance store basically anywhere, because they have great prices, the best customer service, really good selection. Did I mention great prices? Better than you're going to see anywhere else. Go. So dial pound 250, say Jay's Appliance Outlet, pound 250, Jay's Appliance Outlet. Tell them Yaffee sent you.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Action. Next roll with Vernon Davis.
I'm your host, Vernon Davis. Okay, y'all, thank you. That's enough. Today, we have Dietrich Wise.
Through my example, on the field, off the field, during game day, in practice, that was one way that I led, because then it led to success.
Next roll isn't about what's next. It's about why they do it.
My man, Bobby Bones.
Like, I've had a lot of stuff happen, bad and good. And so I don't have any fear of mixing it up.
That's powerful, man.
Next roll with Vernon Davis. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hi, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, host of the Stacking Benjamins podcast.
You know what? A lot of us get taxes wrong.
Filing your taxes is basically data entry.
There's been this trend of people going, oh, it's so cool to file my taxes in August. It's so awesome. Don't worry, I have an extension. It'll be fine. I totally do it later. Stop. Do your friggin' taxes now.
That was a really good fashion voice.
Did you like it?
You do that more frequently, please?
Yes, every show from now on. It'll be like that.
Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.